And welcome to the Women Empowerment Podcast. We're so excited to have you today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about how Cheekbone came about.
Yeah, sure. It's not a super fast story, but I'll do my best. Um, I had a career in the food space, and at the time, I was working for a seafood company as a sales rep. And it's January of 2015, and I had this like actual pop out of bed, middle of the night dream. Three Indigenous little girls, Native little girls, covered in lip gloss. This is all I remember from the dream. And they had rosy cheeks and they were
Oh,
giggling and laughing. I remember I woke up and I grabbed my laptop and I started writing out what is the foundation of our brand today. And the whole idea was create a product and use a portion of the profits to do something to support my community. Fast forward to where we are today, that is obviously almost 10 years ago now. And I can't believe, I think, how far we've come without having zero experience in the beauty industry. Granted, I now recognize why investors love people that worked for Estee Lauder before starting a beauty brand or have co-founders or know something about the space. Because unfortunately, when you're an entrepreneur, we do kind of, what is it, builds the something on the way down of jumping out of an airplane, and that can be really challenging because it can be costly, it can be time consuming. And the truth is, if I knew what I know now, I don't know if I would have started this business or this brand. And it's only because of how extremely competitive the space is, how it is truly run by like what, five conglomerates that own all the brands, that control all the decisions in the beauty space. And when you do start something, though, a really interesting, I think, part of that is being really naive to the space, to the industry, really helped me maybe see things differently. And maybe that's why we've been a little bit successful. But definitely a crazy and wild journey for sure.
so what was that transition like from fish to makeup?
Yeah, dramatic, less stinky, that's for sure. Um, there's a lot of similarities, when you have a sales background and a marketing background, like all of the skills I needed in that role, I certainly have used in Cheekbone. And, when you have a sales career, you really do get used to rejection and understanding it's probably just not the right time and really learn how to build relationships with customers. So that's been super helpful for sure. But even in the sense of like the brand we're trying to be, when I was selling seafood, I was really a fan or an advocate for sustainable options. And it's certainly something that we definitely now do at Cheekbone Beauty as well.
So what's the favorite part of your job now?
The favorite part of my job now, there's actually so many things. One, product development is really, really exciting and fun. There's so much innovation happening in the beauty space, and creating and making something completely out of nothing is just super cool. And not having any experience, remember, a lot of times most people are really just going to like a private a co-packer, white labeler, and having their labs really create
Mhm.
formulations and design for them. We did something that's not quite normal, and I recognize that now, but we actually built our own lab in
Wow.
2020 and I started hiring scientists and working with them because I really wanted to learn how everything was made and where everything was coming from so that I could legitimately share and educate my audience on ingredients and products, supply chain sourcing, ethical ingredient sourcing, and this whole concept that we built into our lab, which is called life cycle thinking or life cycle analysis. And it's when you think about from the harvesting of a raw ingredient to the end of the life of a product and where does it go, and really trace that path. And I wanted to be able to answer all of those honestly for our community.
So when you think back, what inspires you most about working in the cosmetic industry?
I think that there's so much room for growth and change.
Mm,
Like things have always been done a certain way. And when we have these conversations regarding sustainability, I think it's such a huge thing to unpack and fully understand. There's no silver bullet. Not everything is like black and white or a yes or no answer. Like there's a lot of nuances surrounding everything. Right now, we live in a world where everyone's vilifying plastic.
mm,
Well, unfortunately, humans have created so much plastic that what do we intend on doing with that? Because it's
mm,
not disappearing the way that it's chemically formed or made. It's on our planet forever, and so
hmm.
there's new solutions and options for plastic. It's actually much less energy. It's more energy efficient when you're actually producing things out of plastic versus paper,
Ah,
glass, wood, aluminum. And these are things that, as a brand, quite honestly, we fully engage and look at every stage of sustainability, where it's really easy for a marketer on a team to say plastic free or
right,
toxic free. And sadly, as consumers, they have no idea what that means. I can guarantee you most people have no idea why they don't want a paraben in their product. But it's been on our packaging for what, two generations, three generations now. So everyone assumes that this is like obviously some horrible ingredient. And no, Cheekbone Beauty doesn't have parabens in their products, but I will attest not all parabens are made the same and not all are
right.
bad. They've been tested over time. So it's really about understanding. And unfortunately, marketing doesn't allow for that. So at Cheekbone, we have a huge job of like re-educating. And I feel like that's what's exciting about the beauty space is that there's opportunity to actually inform our customers properly.
And not all greenwashing, right? Because to your point about
Exactly.
plastics, you just better alternative to some of the other things that we assume are easier to recycle or to make.
Yeah, we'll make the assumption that wood and paper are
Hmm.
better, but in fact, are we now destroying ancient forests? Like, where's all this paper and wood coming from, right?
Right.
And does that make sense for even the formulation? So it has to be scaled down to like what is actually going in it, and what's the best solution for that in the most sustainable option. Like, there's so many questions to be asked, and it's certainly not simple. It's actually quite a challenge is to figure out how to support these kinds of conversations without greenwashing.
Right. So, in addition to having to formulate the makeup, all these other things that you have to think about, it's not just makeup, right?
Exactly, exactly. And we're a brand that became a B Corp certified company back in 2021. So what that means is we have now a legal obligation to people on the planet before profits, but it also means that we really believe in social impact. So a big part of Cheekbone is, with every purchase, you're supporting our for future generations scholarship fund, which is incredible, right? I'm really proud. I'm excited that business doesn't have to be all business all the time. Like we can have businesses where it is about doing something different in the world. And for us, it was supporting an Indigenous youth with this scholarship fund.
So, tell me more about that. You're a mentor to so many, and you've set up this scholarship.
Yeah, so that was came from that original dream. Like that was like how can
Ah,
we make this lip gloss and use a portion of the profits to support my Indigenous community? And from the beginning, we've always done projects and stuff where we were giving back, but we really solidified it in 2021 when we launched the scholarship fund in partnership with Inspire, which is this great Canadian organization that does a lot of work for Indigenous youth and their education. And with this, it just gave us an opportunity, one, to connect to community. And, there's so many assumptions made about our culture and our people, and that everyone's getting this free education, which is not true at all. And when you're young, you want to make all these big changes in your life, and these
hmm,
things are expensive, especially when you don't come from generational wealth and you really need support. And so
hmm.
we felt like education is such a powerful tool for so many people, and we really wanted to figure out how to support that. So we're really proud that is launched, and this to after February of this year, we'll have deployed 30 scholarships.
Amazing. 30 lives, the trajectory has changed just by you in awarding these scholarships. And that's amazing. And that will create the ripple effect.
Yeah, I really believe that as well. So thank you very much.
What would you say is your greatest achievement, your biggest win so far?
Oh, wow. I feel like I'm just really grateful that I get to wake up every day and call this a job. Like, I
Oh.
was working for people my whole life, and we all have complaints, I guess, about former employers. And when I was building Cheekbone, we're still a small company, but I really thought about where would I want to work and how would I want that to look, and all of the things you don't like about all the jobs you've had in the past. And we get to do so much fun, and makeup is really fun. Like, how fun is makeup, right? So not only are we supporting our community, we're working on products and ingredients and innovation that I believe is like a game changing thing in this industry. And hopefully, even as this small brand, we'll be able to teach and show by example to these large organizations, those five conglomerates, that there is a different and maybe better way to do things. And I really believe that engaging with the Indigenous community on sustainability is such an important conversation. And hopefully, we will be seen this way at some
Hmm.
viewpoint. I didn't know this was going to be the path. I'm going to be launching a book in September, and
Oh.
not only is it like the brand, the journey of me, the cheekbone journey, but we're really ending the book with this defining this category in the beauty space called Indigenous beauty. We all know like Korean beauty, that's known for for like epic skin. French beauty is like red lipstick and perfume, and like Japanese beauty, and then there's your Vedic beauty. And when I want the world to hear Indigenous beauty, I want them to think of sustainability when they hear that the brands that are falling under this umbrella are really focused on not only people, but this beautiful planet that's been given to us as this incredible gift that has so many incredible resources. And I want the world to recognize that Indigenous beauty means this utmost respect for that gift.
I think you have to think deeper about just purchasing a lipstick. Where does it come from? How did it get here?
Absolutely. I've always believed that is the more I've dove into these subjects and this understanding. And the truth is there is no perfect system. Like
Hmm.
humans, we've really messed things up, and we really have to own that in so many ways. And unfortunately, then there's and that's not all of us as individuals. I think we really do care, but
Right.
it's large organizations that aren't, for generations that were more about extracting stuff from the earth. And it's really interesting how this indigenous viewpoint and worldview is so different from the Western
Hmm.
one. We don't look at these resources as commodities, right? Like the Western world, there's just a dollar value on all of this stuff, and we as Indigenous people like innately understood this differently. That it's not going to last forever if we don't put back what we take from the land, and it's all of these teachings that we've legitimately incorporated into building this little beauty brand.
What is your skill set, your secret sauce that has made you successful?
I've publicly said, I'm laughing because I normally am the one that brings this up, that I don't have. Like, I don't feel like, oh, wow, this is my great skill that I've had. I feel like I don't have any. And I
Hmm.
really think I want people to recognize that, like, that it's we all have this ability to really get passionate about something and work really hard to learn something. And that's what I feel like I've been really good at, is maybe being consistent and taking this like really passionate work ethic and putting it into this subject and trying to make these products better for all of us. But I
So
don't,
that
like, I was
that
like, when
is
I'm
your
looking
secret
back, I
sauce.
feel like, yeah, I guess maybe hard work. Yeah. But which
Hard
anybody
work.
can do, right? Like, if you want to, right?
So how would
Right.
you define success?
Yeah, for successes, I've always thought of happiness when I think of that
Ah.
word. Like, you just want to feel happy. And obviously, as humans, that's not going to happen for us every day or even every minute. But when there's those moments of your day,
Hmm.
we talked about our kids briefly before this, and like, I don't know, now that they're adults, it's like, oh, just looking back over time, and it goes by so quickly, but those moments of like just joy and happiness that you get to share with your family, when you get to have a great coffee with a good friend, just taking a walk and enjoying this, all things in nature, like just really enjoying those moments. And to me, that success is when you get to be happy.
Do you have a favorite quote? Has any quote actually stood out and resonated with you?
I think um, there's a lot, but one that really comes back a lot is the one by Maya Angelou about when we know better, we
Uh,
do better. And I feel like it really relates to sustainability, and just as us as humans in general, that it's like we really can't, you know what, we didn't know this then, but we know things now, so we can do better.
what's the best advice someone's ever given to you?
That not to take things personally, which is really
Uh,
hard not to do. And so that's still a battle, but recognizing that I think when you can master the skill of being able to like let things go, it's life changing. Yeah, it's still a work in progress there, but working on it.
did you have a TSN turning point? And what was that turning point and how did it change your trajectory?
In all honesty, it was me choosing sobriety, right? I struggled with addiction for many, many years. And 2 months before that dream, I like literally got sober for real, had made like this incredible um, life changing thing happen for me. And looking back, I don't regret one. Like it, that is, I would not be here. I don't even think I'd be alive to tell you the truth. Like I was a serious alcoholic. And the fact that I get to live and now live this life is just, that's by making one decision not to drink alcohol ever again. And it's been life changing for sure. And so it's put me on this path. And now I get to do all these exciting things with Cheekbone Beauty, including having this conversation with you.
Well, I'm so happy you had that TSN turning point. I thought you were going to say the fish, but this is much better. The fish drove you here.
Yeah, I got sick of the stench. I actually did. It's not that you don't like love a role anymore. Like I really loved the relationships you build with those customers. But yeah, it was when that dream happened. I always say to people, I'm like, it's so strange how who really has a dream and then starts doing something from it. It's kind of crazy when I look back. I can't think too deeply about it because I get all weirded out and I'm like, wow, that's insane. Like, but if you want to do something, and my message to anyone is like, just, you really just, like Nike has the best slogan in the world, like, just do it, right? Like, just do it.
So everyone thinks they can make makeup. All these reality stars have makeup lines. And so I think people have some weird idea that you can just roll out and you make millions. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting up in your field and doing something similar?
Yeah, so the truth is, the making millions part not going to happen overnight or very easy, but
Right.
the barrier to entry in the beauty space is very low because of one, globalization, and this whole idea of what is called private label. So you could
Uh,
have anyone in the world slap together a product for you, whether it's from shampoo to skincare to makeup, and
mhm.
they're going to put your logo on it. Like if you were to search right
Wow.
now, Alibaba lip gloss, you could buy probably 100 lip glosses for less than $1 each, and it could be sent over here to North America. But the truth is, you don't know what's in the products. You don't know, and surely there is good partners around the world that a lot of these celebrities work
Hmm.
with. And have granted, they have their name behind a giant brand. That's what another recognize why investors are like, oh, are they an influencer? Are they a celebrity? That's who they're going to invest their dollars in because it is so hard and it is so challenging to maintain engagement when it comes to building a business. And that is just the attention of the people that you want to buy your products. It's very expensive. In many cases, I literally think the industry we're in is more of a marketing industry versus a beauty industry sometimes. And it's whoever can do the marketing the best is the ones who are going to
Hmm.
win or who has the biggest audience. And hence why influencers and celebrities launch beauty brands because they have an audience to start with. So they're
Ahead
one
of the
box
game.
to check. Yeah, for sure. But it is a lot easier than one would think, but certainly not easy to actually build a community and build customers that are going to keep coming back and buying your products. One thing at Cheekbone I know we're all so proud of is we have like a 65% customer return rate, meaning someone buys something and they come back often. We actually can't believe how much makeup some people buy. As a business, we're like looking at some data and you're like, did they really need all of those? Like, how many of these are they going to
Um,
wear as we're talking about sustainability?
But that's a testament to your brand, right? Repeat customers, return
Yeah, they
customers.
really, yeah, they really love the product. I know when we have a promo and there's some of our hero products out there, like our primer, our Unify multi pencils, and the Moon Dust, like people are buying three,
Like,
5 units at a time because they're stocking up because it's on promo, right? So they love the products, and we're really proud of that.
so when you think back, who have been the three most empowering women in your life?
In my life, the three most empower. I have so many, like personal, my grandmother of what,
Mm,
you know, what she lived through and survived. My own mother, who comes from, like just is a humble woman who cleaned houses her whole life, but I certainly recognize my work ethic comes from her. Like she was
mm,
a single mom for most of it and just worked her butt off and always made sure we had delicious home cooked meals as well as
mm.
like lots of love. Like we weren't wealthy by any means, but there was so much love in our home, and so I know that comes from her. And then in the business world, I admire women like Sarah Blakely. Like I'm just such a huge fan of how she built her incredible empire. I've always been a big fan of Oprah Winfrey. I feel like her vulnerability and sharing through her entire life, like all of the things, the good and the bad, and that, you don't have to come from all of these sort of high places to achieve great things and be happy and successful.
When you think about the word empowerment, it's such a big word. What does it mean to you if someone,
Yeah, I feel it like I literally envision it as like someone like injecting you with something
uh,
because they're sharing like something that they know with you and that empowers you. And then it's like this beautiful, like pay it forward situation where you hopefully are going on and doing that to somebody else. And I feel like that's how we can all empower each other.
okay, so we've done the hard stuff. We're going to do rapid fire. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Funny. My
What did
husband would
you
laugh at that.
What did you dream of being when you were a child?
I wanted to be an actress and then a marine biologist.
Choose between money and fame, which would it be?
Money. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
with
need to
you.
be famous, but I for sure need the money to do all the traveling I dream of doing.
Do you tend to wake up early or stay up and work late?
Wake up early. I'm an early bird.
You're an early bird. If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Ooh, wow. I know we're like working on this and it's like included in it, but it's not the whole thing. So the title of this book is really critical for us right now, but we have no idea. And if it was just about me, I'd be like a beautiful disaster. How's that? That would
Perfect.
be
I
the
love it.
title. If the book was just about me.
Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't live without or go without?
Oh, wow. Chocolate. Like that's not a necessity, right? Like I need chocolate at some point in the week.
What's one thing that you've always wanted to do in life, but you haven't yet?
Oh, well, I've always wanted to, like speaking of travel, I want to go to Tokyo and visit a lot of the Asian countries like Singapore. So I want to like do a whole like a vacation based on that part of the world, which I've never touched yet, which I'm just dying to.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. So I want to say like love, but what I mean by that is like this principled love that I feel like is lacking in our world where we're doing things for people maybe that we don't even really know, but it's based on this love just because that's what we would do for one another, like if we could.
If a song played every time you walked into the room, what would that song be?
Uh, I have like so many, but I like love. Oh my goodness, like Nicki Minaj, Empire for Life, I think it's called, or Moment for Life. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that one.
What's one thing you want but money cannot buy?
Oh. I think everyone wants this like peace on our in our
Hmm.
world, right? And money cannot buy that, unfortunately.
That could actually be the root of the problem as well, right?
Quite honestly,
Right.
yes.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change? So I think we just.
That and like any form of isms, like not
Mm.
just like hate, I guess, hating one another for things that like is based on fear, whether it's just like racism is what first came to mind for sure. Like we don't know nothing about a culture, and yet how can we hate based on those things? Like, it just never has made any sense to me, but I get it's fear, right?
What's your favorite entrepreneurial or empowerment book?
Ooh. Oh wow, I've read so many good ones. But here's a book that I've literally read for 10 years when I was a sales rep. Oh my goodness. The Habits book
Ah,
by, it's like old from like the 80s. Stephen Cohen, I believe, is the author. Seven Habits of Highly Successful People or something like that. Yeah. But I read that book literally once a year for 10 years. And I feel like it just has like great, what are they? Great like values
foundation.
or
Yeah.
foundation for like business, life, all of it. Yeah, it was great.
What's the most recent investment you have made in yourself?
Ooh, I had a facial this week, which was
Ah,
amazing. Yeah,
what's the one common myth about your profession that you want to debunk?
my profession. I don't know if that's meaning like beauty industry or like just like leaders of businesses in general, that it's like this glamorous job and like
Mm.
traveling is it's not at all. There's like the all the responsibility and the stress that comes with it is certainly not glamorous, but when you feel really good about the work you're doing and putting into the world, there that sort of balances out all of the really, really hard parts.
What's one thing you learned about yourself through your journey so far?
That I'm really resilient.
Mm.
Yeah, I am able to handle so much more than I once thought I would be able to. But I guess we don't know until we do, right?
If you could sit down and have a 1 hour conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would that be and why?
Oh my. This is so hard too. These are such good questions. Um, I feel like I would want them to be alive. One, because I want to have a relationship with them and like the potential of future. Like you just don't know where a great conversation could lead. And I do want to have a conversation with like Oprah Winfrey. But let's say her.
Put it out into the universe. Have a
Yeah,
dream about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And lastly, if you could go back, what's the one piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Believe in yourself sooner.
Oh.
Hmm.
Jenn, thank you so much for elevating, educating, and empowering other women. We rise by lifting others.